All right. Hello and welcome back. My name is Katie with KC Yoga. And for tonight's yoga practice, we're going to do a 60-minute deep stretch practice for the hips. We're going to target the back of the hips, the glutes, the low back, the front of the hip flexor, and try to kind of hit everything that might be really cranky and tight there. So for your practice tonight, you might want yoga blocks if you have them. If you don't have yoga blocks, grab a thick stack of books. We'll use that instead. And then a pillow or a bolster if you have it. And if your pillows are kind of flimsy, maybe a couple. We'll start our practice seated. So you can sit either up on a yoga block for a little lift in the hips, or you could sit on your pillows or your bolster. And we'll just take a little breath work tonight called Nadi Shodhana or alternate nostril breath. This breath work is great for clarity, especially if you're feeling foggy, scattered, anxious. It's really good for focus. And it's also good to calm the nervous system if you're feeling just a little bit stressed and kind of pulled in multiple directions. So for Nadi Shodhana, for alternate nostril breath, we'll take the hand to the face, and we're going to bring the first two fingers just to rest in the middle of the forehead. And then your thumb will come to one nostril, and then either ring finger, pinky, whatever sort of makes sense for you on the left side. Now, if this isn't comfortable and you'd rather just sort of use your thumb and your ring finger for your nose, that's fine. I find it's nice to sort of rest my fingertip on my forehead here just to help the hang of my arm. Good, so we'll sit up nice and tall here. We'll close down the eyes. And we'll close the left nostril and breathe in through the right, up to the third eye, and then the crown of the head. Closing both nostrils, pause, and then open the left nostril, breathe out the left side. Inhale, left side, up. Close both nostrils, pause. Exhaling right. Long, slow, steady breath in through the right. Closing both nostrils at the top and then out through the left. In through the left. Then out through the right. Continue on your own. Really drinking in the breath. Feeling the temperature of the breath as it comes in. And the change in temperature, a little warmer as it flows out. Just get quiet. Continue this back and forth breathing and notice. Anything that comes up, notice how you feel. As you breathe, notice anywhere you're gripping, maybe through the jaw, the shoulders. the arm's getting tired, you can use the opposite arm to cup and hold the elbow. We'll take just a few more rounds of this breath work. Ending the next time your breath leaves the right side. Whenever that happens, no rush, release your hands. Let them rest face up or face down on the legs. Just take a moment, close the eyes. Notice how you feel. Take inventory of the body. Notice if anything's tense. Notice if it feels heavy, dense, or conversely, if you feel pretty light. I'm going to bring the hands face down on the knees if they're not already. We'll take a little movement through head and neck. So on an inhale, sit up tall, reach through the crown of the head. On your exhale, drop your right ear to your right shoulder, heavy through the left side of the neck. Take a breath in, and then drop the chin to chest. Rolling left ear, left shoulder. Exhale through the center, getting into the upper back. Inhaling right ear, right shoulder. Exhale, chin to chest. So we talk about the hips, but really everything's related and connected. Start with the neck to work your way down the back. Keep going side to side. Looking a little like Cousin It over here. Don't worry about what it looks like, just how it feels. Good. Maybe it feels good to lift the chin and take these in full circles around. Maybe if you're doing that 3 times and then reverse direction, or if it doesn't feel good to do that, just stay with that back and forth, side to side. Good. Coming back to center whenever you're ready. Switching the cross of the feet so that you're crossed the awkward way. And then hands to the knees, we're going to start to spin around. Tucking back. I think we did this last night. It just feels so good to move the spine. Last week, rather. Was it just last night? Good. Reverse your direction. Good. Coming back to center, bring the fingertips behind. Lift up through the chest. Maybe let the head drop back. Press the hips forward. Take one more breath. And then come back to neutral. We'll come off of whatever we're sitting on. Coming down to a seat. And bring the soles of the feet together, knees nice and wide. And for this variation today, we're going to take the legs wider, so the feet further away from the body than you normally would. Now, if you've got a couple yoga blocks here, you could take one sort of behind the heels and the other on top, maybe resting the head as you come forward. If you'd like a little bit more or a little something different, you could try bringing the blocks in between the soles of the feet. This is just a different angle. It's going to feel different on the hips and the hamstrings. Maybe instead you just drape a pillow across the lap and rest on that. And if none of that's quite working for your body, just find something that does. Let it be pretty soft. Just letting the spine round with gravity, relaxing the back. As we start to open through the hamstrings and the hips. Really let gravity pull you. But be gentle with the backs of the legs and especially the low back. If anything's starting to feel questionable, make it a little softer. Trust that even a gentle sensation is a very effective stretch, maybe more effective. If you find yourself bored or distracted, close the eyes, focus on the breath. Watching the body expands as air comes in. Watching the body surrender a little deeper, sinking as the breath goes out. Maybe giving the head a little shake to relax the upper back a little more. Relax through the shoulders and the neck. And taking one last big deep inhale. Tuck your chin, slowly walk your hands in to come up. Close the knees like a book, bring the soles of the feet to the mat, and take them a little wide. Leaning back onto the hands, drop one knee to the middle and lift the chest. Good, and then other side. Just back and forth like this. One more. Good. And then we'll drop both knees to the left and come up to sit. Coming into 90-90 legs here. So I want you to take your left shin, let's do it this way actually. Left shin parallel to the long edge of your mat, and then the right leg sort of parallel behind so that both legs are roughly a 90-90 angle. And then we're going to turn towards that left hip. And if you've got blocks, you could bring them with you, or a bolster. We're just going to twist. And then we'll come down, either just resting on the hands here or forearms to a prop, blocks, or a couple pillows. So it's a big internal rotation for that back hip and compression for the front hip, sort of a preparation for pigeon pose. The body might adapt to this one pretty quickly if you'd like to come a little lower, as long as it feels safe. The lower you come, the less you'll feel that rotation in the back leg. Just breathe into the hips here, even if it doesn't feel like a ton of sensation. Taking just a few more breaths here. Good. One more inhale. Slowly lift yourself up. And then from here, we'll turn to face the front shin. So if the back leg isn't quite at 90 degrees anymore, go ahead and adjust so that it is. So both legs are roughly 90 degrees. And then crawl the fingertips over that front shin. Take an inhale to extend and an exhale to melt onto the forearms. 2 more like that. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower down. Good. 1 more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, lower. So this is a kind of a funky variation on Pigeon. We'll take just about a minute here. Really letting the low body be heavy in this shape. So notice if you're sort of protecting by gripping the glutes, release that. Good. 1 more big deep breath. Exhale, lifting up. Unwind the legs, and we'll just switch sides. Nothing fancy. You could turn to face the right shin parallel to the right edge of your mat, or just spin around if that's better. Same thing here, 90-90 legs. So 90 degrees straight from the right hip forward, 90 degrees straight from the left hip out, and then we'll twist. Twisting to the right. Adjusting as needed. Ooh, tighter on this side. Good. Maybe your fingertips just come to the floor, and this is a good place to start. Breathing into it. Maybe you lower onto forearms on the floor or on a prop. So this pose in particular might not feel like much of a deep stretch, but we're working the fascia, the connective tissue. The fascia is this big watery web that holds all the muscles together to one another and to the bones. When we put pressure on the fascia like this, we help to hydrate it so that everything can move a little bit more smoothly and we're more flexible in the end. So I want you to really think about sending your breath to that web of fascia, especially where you feel sort of tension or resistance, wherever you feel sensation. Close the eyes, direct all those water droplets that are on each breath to that space. Maybe you can come down a little lower now. The body may have adjusted to this shape. And if not, if coming lower kind of makes the body go, ooh, just back up. Make it softer instead. And taking one more breath. Rising up on your exhale. Good. Coming back to sit, 90-90 legs. Adjust if you need to. And then we're going to lean towards the front shin. Crawl the fingertips forward. Lift the chest. Take a big inhale. On your exhale, bend your elbows, bow. Two more. Inhale. Hello. Exhale, fold. Good. Last one. Inhale. Exhale, folding over the legs. I'll turn to the side so that you can see this. So it's sort of like pigeon, but with that back leg, instead of straight, it's at a 90-degree angle, resting on the inner knee and the ankle bone. So breathing here. If the front shin's not quite parallel, maybe you wiggle it a little further forward and you stay a little higher. Just about 5 deep breaths. One more big deep inhale. And on your exhale, lift up. Release the legs. Ah. Good. Let's make our way to tabletop, all fours. So just coming into hands and knees. I'll take a little movement for the spine here. Drop the belly, lift the sits bones. Round the spine, press the floor away. Drop the head. Good. Opening up. Really expand through the tailbone. Exhale, pressing into the hands, round the back. Good. We'll take just one more like that. Inhaling, open. Good. Exhale to round and curl. And tuck the toes behind. Lift the knees and then walk the hands and the feet together. Bending the knees pretty deeply. We're going to get into the low back here. So really connect the belly with the thighs. Fingertips can stay to the floor, or you could take opposite elbows to give yourself a little traction for the spine, maybe a little gentle sway. We're just helping to open up through the hamstrings and the low back so that the glutes and the front of the hips can release. Ooh. So maybe you give the head a little shake, yes, and no.
Oh, if it feels good, maybe you twist to one side and then the other. Just exploring a little bit here. Couple more breaths. We won't stay too long. Forward fold's pretty intense if you're doing it for more than a minute. Good, and then from here, we'll bring the fingertips down, heel toeing the feet wide, toes pointed out. Start to bend at the knees and come down into a little yogi squat. You can sort of rock into the hips and adjust the feet to get down. And if the hips are really tight, the heels are off of the mat, bring a stack of books, a stool, one or two blocks beneath the seat. I'm going to sit up so that the soles of the feet can be flat. Good. Now from here, hands together at heart center. You can lift up through the spine. Maybe a light press of the elbows into the inner thighs. Good. Another option here is to bring the fingertips down and just to round forward. Notice if the knees want to drop in. See if you can't use your arms or the strength of your outer hips to just lightly press the knees open. Good. So getting deep into the inner thigh now, into the ankle as well, the calf. Remember, everything's connected. Good. Take an inhale. On the exhale, stay. Two more. Big, deep inhale. Big exhale wherever you are. One more. Inhaling. Exhale. Fingertips down. Lift the hips up. And then bring them back underneath the knee, the feet back underneath the hips. Bend the knees, a little sway. Good. We'll walk out to downward facing dog. So walk the hands forward, walk the feet back. Nice big pedal out through the heels, stretching the calves, the arches of the feet. And then we're going to come back to tabletop and into a more traditional pigeon. So we'll bring the left knee forward behind the left wrist, and then the left heel comes towards the left, the right heel comes towards the left thigh. From here, I want you to tuck your back toes and then slide them back so that you come onto the top of the left thigh. And then a little rock side to side to see what's going on with this right hip. Now, if you're really dumped to the right here, this is the only way we can find this shape. The hips are really tight. I want you to put something under that right hip, a folded blanket, a pillow, a block. And remember that this right foot can just be here at the top of the left hip bone. It doesn't have to be parallel to the front edge of the mat. Good. Whenever you're ready, start to lower down onto forearms. If you've got a couple pillows, you could bring the pillows in front to lay on, to hug. Just take it easy and gentle here with your body. If this shape is not working for you, then come onto your back and take figure 4 on your back instead. Wherever you've landed, close the eyes, deepen and focus the breath. Try to be patient with the body. Nice slow inhales and exhales, one at a time. Scan for tensioning up through the face, the forehead, the jaw, the shoulders. Relax. Last big deep inhale. On your exhale, slowly release, coming back up to your palms. Pressing back through tabletop. Ooh. Releasing that right leg any way that feels good. I like to step my toes to the back of the mat, stretch through the back of the knee, the calf. Good. Soften that right knee down. And when you're ready, switch sides. Bring the left knee forward behind the left wrist. Tuck the right toes and then slide that right leg back. A little wiggle to say hello to left hip. Good, same thing here. If you're really dumping to the left side, if there's any tightness there that's prohibiting you from having fairly level hips, just go ahead and support beneath the left hip with a prop. Once you feel fairly level, lower onto the forearms. Maybe onto a pillow if you're not using it. Remember that in this style of deep stretch practice, we're not aiming for 100%. You can take it to 100% of your depth, but then back off to about 70. The body responds better to a little bit more give, a little bit more space than it does to pressure. Taking a few more breaths. Really directing the breath to that outer left hip, the back of the left thigh. One more big inhale. On your exhale, slowly lift and release. And releasing the left leg in any way that feels good. You could shake it out. Ooh. Maybe again, step toes to the back of the mat, pressing the back of the knee to the sky. Good. From here, we'll just come through to sit and prepare ourselves to come onto our back. So have your stack of books or blocks handy.
And if you've got pillows, we'll use those for Shavasana, so you can just kind of slide them to the front of the mat for now. And lower down onto the back. We'll get into the front of the hips now, the hip flexors. So especially tight for runners, anybody that walks for work all day. And so bring the soles of the feet to the floor, just about hip width distance, knees to the sky. And we're going to press the feet down, lifting the hips up, and slide either one block on its lowest height setting, maybe two stacked if you have narrow blocks like these. Or maybe you turn the block the other way. Just let the hips rest, finding that sort of flat part of the low spine, the sacrum. So just beneath the lumbar back, there's a bony plate that protects the back of the pelvis. If there's any pinching in the low back, try taking the blocks a little closer to the feet. And then close the eyes, let the hips relax here. Let the legs relax. Maybe the knees start to slightly fall open or in, whatever your sort of tendency is. You can adjust through the feet. And you can keep the fingertips or the hands here to the front of the hip bone if that feels comfortable, or maybe hands out to the side, or even a cactus arm to open through the chest. Just taking several breaths here. This may be enough. Really good, healthy compression on the low back. Great for circulation, inflammation around sciatic nerve. And if you'd like a little bit more for the front of the hip, you could start to slide the feet forward. Ooh, my pillow's there, so I'll just set my feet onto the pillow. Taking a big back bend here. Just careful that it's not cranking the low back. If it is at all, just maybe adjust or back off. Maybe you take just one leg at a time. If you're doing one leg at a time, just give it equal attention, maybe counting your breaths before you switch sides. We'll take just about 5 more deep breaths wherever you are, or if you'd like to change position, take your last 5 breaths somewhere else.
Good. When you're ready, if the feet aren't already flat on the mat, go ahead and bring them flat, knees to the sky. And then bring your hands to the blocks for support. Lift one knee and then the other up. A little massage here for the sacrum. And if whatever you had going on with the blocks, whatever height was just too much for this, just come down a little lower. Taking little circles one way and then the other. Good. We'll keep the left knee into the chest. Release the right foot to the mat. And then you're going to bring the right toes towards the left glute, dropping the right knee down. Maybe reach down with the left hand and just kind of help tuck that. And then use your hands to pull that left knee in. So getting a big quad stretch, ankle stretch, toe stretch, right side. Good. Just a few breaths like this. And then we'll release the right foot, both knees into chest. And then both hands to the right knee, hug it in, drop the left foot down. And then take it towards the right glute, dropping the left knee straight forward on the mat. Breathe. One more big deep inhale. And then start to release both feet to the mat, pressing down, lift the hips, move the block off to the side. And massaging the low back into the ground. We'll take just a gentle twist before we come into our final rest, our Shavasana. Press down through the feet, lift the hips, move them an inch to the left. And then drop both knees to the right, peeling the left arm open, either to a cactus or a T, whatever feels good. Taking just a couple breaths. One more inhale. And back to center. Press down through the toes, lift the hips 2 inches to the right, drop the knees to the left, peeling the arm open to the right. Good. Coming back to center. And if you've got pillows nearby, maybe you grab them with your feet and then bring them beneath the knees to support the low back and the hips. Wiggle your body into position. Walk the shoulder blades together beneath you, palms open to the sides. Close your eyes and let your body be fully heavy. Relax all the muscles.
Relax your control over the breath. Give yourself permission to let go of your day, let go of your practice. Nowhere else to be, nothing else to do. Your only job for these next few minutes is to be heavy, to be still, and to rest. Begin to deepen your breathing. Bring your awareness back to your body, to your space. Become aware again of the sensation of the breath coming in through the nose, nice and cool. Ooh, the breath leaving the body a little warmer than it came. Begin to come back to the sensation of your clothes on your skin, all points of contact with the earth. Start to invite in a little movement, wiggling through fingers, hands and wrists, toes, ankles, and feet. When you're ready, stretch your arms overhead, stretch your toes long, take a big full body breath. And then on the exhale, bring the knees into the chest. Give yourself a big squeeze. Rock a little side to side, massaging the back. And then rolling to fetal position. Taking just a moment here of pause, this in-between space. Rising up when you're ready to finish your practice in a tall and easy seat. Once you arrive there, close the eyes, take a moment here of quiet, of stillness to just notice how you feel. When you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes, come back into your space. Thank yourself for taking the time to take care of your body and also your mind in this really profound way. Have a beautiful rest of your evening. I will see you very soon. Until next time.